Welcome to CAN, Caribbean Affiliate News. My name is Siobhan Gobin. Here are the stories that we're following today, July 31st, 2013. In international news, the Spain train crash hearing, the driver was on the phone. In Zimbabwe, Mugabe keeps grip before vote, but the opposition grows bolder. Conrad Murray gets 2 years taken off of jail sentence. In the USA, Bradley Manning not guilty of aiding the enemy. Details on these headlines and more when we return.
The government say it's all about the food. August the 10th. Foreigners welcome to the land of oil dung. Beers and strong rum, girls hot and can done. It's all about the food. Oil Dung Fest, August 10, Lapama, and in the place.
Welcome back to CAN, Caribbean Affiliate News. My name is Siobhan Gobin. This segment of the news is sponsored by Total Caribbean Network. The driver of the train that crashed in Spain, killing 79 people, was on a phone talking to railway officials just before it derailed, investigators say. The train was traveling at 119 miles per hour in the moments before it came off the tracks outside of Santiago de Compostela last Wednesday, a preliminary hearing has been told. The court sitting in Spain's capital city, Madrid, was told the conductor activated the brakes seconds before the crash. But investigators working with the Court of Justice in Galicia said this only managed to slow it to 95 miles per hour at the point when it came off the rails on a bend. The speed limit at the spot where the train derailed was set at 50 miles per hour. Crash investigators have been opening the black boxes, which record details about the train's speed and conversations between drivers and other controllers. Under Spanish law, the contents of the black boxes were revealed within a court environment. The train was carrying 218 passengers when it hurtled off the tracks last Wednesday evening. It slammed into a concrete wall, causing some carriages to flip over and catch fire. So far, 79 people have died and at least 130 were taken to the hospital. 2 Americans were among the dead, while 4 U.S. citizens and 1 Briton were among the injured. Dozens of passengers are still being treated for injuries. The driver, Francisco Jose Garzon Amor, has been identified as the person most likely to be responsible for multiple cases of negligent homicide, but is still under investigation. He was questioned and then released on Sunday and is under court supervision. A statement released by the court said Mr. Amor had been talking on his work phone to an official of national rail company Renfe while apparently consulting a paper document at the time of the crash. The statement under preliminary findings did not indicate whether such a phone conversation is common between a driver and a moving train and a controller. It did not say how long the call lasted, did not name the Renfe official who called the driver, nor did it describe what plan or document the driver had been consulting. Investigators from the Santiago de Compostela Court, forensic police experts, the Ministry of Transport, and Renfe examined the context of the 2 black boxes. The Spanish railway agency has already said the brakes should have been applied 2.5 miles before the train hit the curve. When the main challengers in Zimbabwe's presidential election tried to import motorcycles to register voters across vast distances, the government impounded them, forcing the party to use bicycles instead. Then the challengers' election chief was jailed less than a week before the vote and denied bail the day before it. President Robert Mugabe, the man who has ruled Zimbabwe since the end of white domination in 1980, retains his iron grip on the country's feared security apparatus. which killed more than 200 people in the 2008 presidential election season. Now nearing 90, he is running again today, and there are few signs that he is ready to give up the reins after more than 3 decades in power. But even with the shadow of the last election still looming, Edison Masunda was unafraid as he joined others streaming into a dusty field at the edge of the city center, part of a crimson wave of tens of thousands who gathered for the challenging party's rival party's final rally on Monday. It was a far cry from the thick blanket of fear that smothered the country in 2008, when many opposition supporters dared not wear their party's red insignia or openly show their political loyalties, lest roaming bands of Mugabe supporters beat them up or worse. Mr. Masunda and the others massed in the field renamed Freedom Square within sight of the headquarters of Mr. Mugabe's party, emblazoned with its towering black cockerel insignia. Many Zimbabweans are calling this the most important election since Mr. Mugabe, a hero of liberation, first came to power. Today's vote is being held on a tight timetable and a shoestring budget as a result of Mr. Mugabe's insistence that it be held by the end of August. The voter registration process was truncated, and just 2 days before the election, there was still no final list of voters as required by law. Early voting by police officers and emergency workers was chaotic, and many were unable to cast their ballots. The government has barred Western observers like those from the European Union and the African Union and the Regional Trade Bloc. The Southern African Development Community, as well as local organizations, have been accredited in large numbers and will be watching at the polls. And while most foreign journalists were barred during the last election, social media will be a prominent part of the campaign. Both Mr. Mugabe's party, ZANU-PF, and its main challenger, the Movement for Democratic Change, are using Twitter and Facebook to get out news. Several websites have sprung up to monitor election irregularities, and the challengers are counting on voters to use their cell phones to announce results as they come in and to report abuses. The disgraced doctor charged with manslaughter for his hand in the death of Michael Jackson has been called a model inmate and will be released for good behavior and due to the overcrowding of the California jail system, a source says. Murray will have served less than half of his 4-year sentence, a fact that has the Jackson family irate. And I quote, "It is not right that I will never be able to see my son again while his mother can see him," Catherine Jackson tells UK's The Mirror of the decision, while another family insider adds, "For him to get 2 years is an insult. The family feels he should have been tried for murder." Adding fuel to the fire is Murray's refusal to testify in the wrongful death trial the Jacksons have going against concert promoter AEG. Murray declined the prosecution's request to help prove their case that AEG was criminally negligent with MJ and contributed to his death on grounds that Murray didn't want to incriminate himself further. The former doc even claimed he would drop a nuclear secret about Michael if he was forced to testify. Murray's life will hardly go back to normal upon his release. The doctor was stripped of his medical license for his involvement in Michael Jackson's death. You are watching Caribbean Affiliate News. We will be right back.
The government say it's all about the food. August the 10th. Foreigners welcome to the land of oil dung. Beers and strong rum, girls hot and can done. It's all about the food. Oil Dung Fest, August 10th, Lapama, and in the place.